Hello everyone. So if you read the title of my video, then you're trying to figure out who Hey It's JK is truly. So let's just jump into it. So I'm going to go through a breakdown of, my childhood, some of the things that I've been through, and I'm just going to let it all out, let it all go. This won't be a video for sympathy or anything like that. This is just basically just getting my mind off of really traumatic experiences in my life. I'm really trying to understand myself a little bit more. If you hear things in the background, my dryer is going right now, and so is my washer. So I'm sorry about that. But starting out as a kid, I actually have a picture right here. Can't really see that because of the light, but this was me as a kid. I've always been a nerdy, uh, adventurous, like computer type kid. I used to take things apart a lot whenever I was younger and never be able to put them back together. And that was just because I like the concept of like what was on the inside of the electronics that I had. And it helped me learn a lot at a young age about electronics and weird stuff. I honestly, the older that I got, the less I started doing it. I kind of wish I would get back into doing stuff like that, but I don't know. I'm old. I'm really old. I have my mind focused on other things these days than just electronics. Speaking of, there are a lot of hateful comments on a lot of my electronic review videos, and I want to thank you all for that because you're helping me in the algorithm. So continue on. But so yeah, as a kid, I was always nerdy. I was always into gaming. I was always into just really odd things. I loved music. Music was my go-to. Um, Whenever I was like 6, my mom had bought me a trance CD from like a how do you explain it? She had bought me like a trance CD from a pawn shop, and um that really got me into like techno and EDM and stuff like that. So I was so interested in that culture for a very, very long time. She was My mother was also like a hair metal person from like the 80s and stuff. So at the same time, I was always into hair metal, like bands like Metallica or Slipknot or Disturbed or Deftones. Like I was always into that stuff a lot. So I also digged the gothic culture, and that was something that sorry, this noise over here is distracting me. um that was always something that I loved the most. I just loved gothic fashion. um it was always dark and mysterious, and it wasn't like something that scared me for some reason. Like most people get scared of like gothic fashion or stuff like that. And I'm not talking about like gothic fashion. I'm talking about like late 90s, early 2000s gothic fashion. That's something that I always loved. So being a nerd and into that, it made me very different from a lot of other kids in school. So in school, I was pretty much the outcast. I've always been the outcast. I've always not had many friends, which I guess you could say that makes me a very strong-willed person because um, if I was able to get through all of that without many friends in life, then I guess I can get through a lot of other things in life. Been through a lot, definitely been through a lot. There's a lot of things that I would like to discuss in this video. But yeah, I was always the outcast. Didn't have many friends growing up. Uh, it was it was such a cool time. Um, I wouldn't say cool, but I mean it was such a different time back then because back then we didn't have cell phones and Facebook and internet. So, you know, a lot of the things that we did back then was ride our bikes. I met a few friends along the way and um, still friends with one of them. But yeah, I was also into like BMX and stuff. So I did that whenever I was really young. Didn't like do any competition tournaments or anything like that, but I was always into taking my bike and like jumping it off of hills and shit. Um, that really interested me. This noise over here is annoying me. Anyways, but yeah, like, so I was into all of this weird stuff. And a lot of things that I was into resonated. I can't say that right. Resonated with my brother. I have a brother. Um, so like I grew up next to him, and he was like the skateboarder, like baggy pants type in that time period. You know, we're talking about the early 2000s. So, you know, it it was a different time, but yeah, he was like the skateboarder type. So, you know, a lot of things that I liked, he liked as well. So I grew up alongside with him. We did beat the crap out of each other and we did hate each other a lot, but at the same time, um, he was somebody that I could go to with my problems or anything that I had going on, and he would protect me. So, moving on to my teen years. My teen years were a bit different and a bit awkward. Um, I was so into Slipknot back then. It was insane. Like Slipknot was just like the one band that I listened to on the regular, like every day. Didn't stop listening to them. I do remember that iHeartRadio came out around that time period of me being a teenager, which was 2007, 2008. So I'd get on there and like listen to new music. I would listen to like Suicide Silence or Chelsea Grin. I remember whenever Chelsea Grin came out with her EP at that time, that was insane. Um, hell, Bring Me the Horizon. Bring Me the Horizon was not what it is today. Like it's radio pop or whatever. It's just radio noise is all it is. Back then, Chelsea Grin was one of the hardest bands that I had ever listened to. Fuck, or not Chelsea Grin. Sorry. Bring Me the Horizon. But damn, that was shit. That was an interesting time back then. But yeah, I was a kid in the back of the classroom with the Slipknot t-shirt and just black skinny jeans, long hair. I had the emo hair. I was the emo kid. That was me. I loved being the emo kid. I'm still the emo kid. Um in my older age, and damn, I wish I wasn't so emotional, but I am, and that's just who I am. just who I'm always going to be, and I love it, but at the same time, I hate it. But yeah, I was the emo kid, and a lot of there was a lot of things that people didn't know about me back then, which was just like I was heavy into Slipknot, but I wasn't just listening to Slipknot or Chelsea Grin or Bring Me the Horizon or Suicide Silence. I was also listening to like pop artists like Britney Spears or the Black Eyed Peas or just artists like that in the background. Like I wouldn't let anybody know that I was listening to those artists, but I was, and that's just because, like I said, whenever I was younger, I was always into music. I always liked the production of music, which is why I have gotten into producing music. I always like the different sounds. Like I'm addicted to the different sounds that I hear in the background of a song. A lot of people get addicted to like the lyrics of a song, but for me, it's like the extra noises that you hear. There's just a little something that you hear in the background that's not really meant to be there, but for me, like I can hear it. I don't know. It's just addicting. It's addicting to me. Like I get addicted to hearing new sounds. Like, didn't really hear that in that track that time. Let's let's listen to that again and see if we can't find more stuff. So I don't know. I was always addicted to just new sounds and stuff. But yeah, like in my teen years, I was listening to stuff like that. I was also listening to like a lot of cybergothic industrial rave music. Um, a lot of people knew that I was listening to that because towards the middle of my teen years, I started wearing like biohazard shirts and I started getting into like the cybergothic fashion. And I used to say like I'm a cybergoth or whatever, even though I was just like some 15-year-old kid, just didn't really have the funds to meet the cybergothic requirements. But yeah, like I was heavily into cybergothic culture. So that was me in my teenage years. Um, Around that time, I started to get bullied a lot in middle school, and it kind of took a toll on my mental health a lot. I lost a lot of friends too, and so um, I was kind of alone in middle school, which kind of sucks because in middle school that's like the best time to like start making friends and stuff. But for me, I lost a lot of my friends, and so I was just kind of alone a lot of the time. Um, see, moving on to my high school years. In my high school years, I was starting to really find myself. I started to work at a meat processing plant thanks to my dad. My dad is one of the best cattle managers that you can come across in Texas, and which is where I live. I live in Texas. I'm not going to give you my city of where I reside because I can pretty much tell that there are a few people that are throwing me off, and I don't want them to know where I reside. But yeah, my dad is one of the best cattle managers in Texas, and he's uh, he's really held up a lot of things. I guess I don't know, but yeah, I got a job with my dad at the meat processing plant, and that was whenever I started to really discover myself. I started listening to Deftones more. Deftones really helped me out whenever I was a teenager or whenever I was in high school. Um, Deftones was like my go-to band back then. I had like Coal Chamber too. I don't know if anybody remembers them. Coal Chamber was always on the heavy hit list. Same with OTEP. I loved OTEP at 16, 17, and 18. Um, But yeah, there was the the bullying never stopped through middle school. It progressively got worse in high school. So I had to drop out of high school and go to a school that was for dropouts at 16. Like basically I dropped out, transferred over to the school for dropouts immediately after, and then I went to school there for the next year and a half. I actually graduated a year before everybody, so it helped me out a lot. But um I mean, it didn't really help me out a lot in the sense of like social cuz in this school for dropouts, you basically had to go to school for 4 hours and you had to sit behind a computer for 4 hours and you weren't able to communicate with other individuals or other kids or whatever, however you want to say it. So I really didn't get that social experience of high school. So it really set me back into like talking with people. Like I have a major social anxiety fear, and so this year is like a way to get past all that. This year has been basically me getting rid of that social anxiety little by little, going out to new places or going out to do new things or whatever. It's basically this year has been just to break that habit of social anxiety, which I mean it's still kind of there, but I've really gained that social um the social feeling that I'm looking for. But yeah, in high school, dropped out. I went to the high school for dropouts, and I graduated a year earlier than everybody else. And so right after that, um, I decided to go to college, and what I went to college for was to be a police officer. And the reason why I wanted to be a police officer was because um, like me and my dad used to watch Cops all the time whenever I was really little. And so it was like something that I saw on TV and just really wanted to be growing up. So I immediately went to college right after I graduated high school. But a little around that time, um, there was something going on with my brother, and that was drug addiction. And so I was fighting that while going to school. Um, I was like trying to be there for my mom and my dad while still going to school. And I'm not blaming him for this, but eventually I just decided to drop out of college. And it's not really because of him, it's not because of like anybody else. It was mainly just me. Like, college just wasn't for me. There was a lot going on in college that it just, I wasn't happy with it. So I mean, it's okay. Like if you drop out of college, it's totally okay. College now is super expensive, and I wouldn't want anybody to go to college if they're not like willing to like put in the effort. Because damn, I didn't put in any effort, and thank God that Biden passed this thing going on with college loans because I am totally screwed. But yeah, there was that. I dropped out, and then I had to help my mom and my dad a lot more with my brother. Um, so we dealt with my brother's stuff for a very long time. Moving on to my 20s. In my 20s, I became a car person. Like I was very, oof, I was very, very, just naive about cars. Like I thought I knew everything, but really, even now I still think that way sometimes. But there's certain things that I do know and certain things that I don't know, and that's totally fine. In the atmosphere of cars and stuff, it's like if you don't know something, then you get bashed for it. So you kind of have to fake it till you make it, type situation. Um, but in my 20s, I was into cars. I spent a lot of money on cars. It was insane. Um, Somehow I came out of it okay. Thank God. Yes. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, in my 20s, I was into cars. Did a lot of car stuff. I did get pretty far with the car stuff, but eventually it had to come to a stop. Uh, there was just too much drama. I had a lot of accidents too, so there was that. So I eventually just put it to a stop. And in my it wasn't even my mid 20s actually, because I'm in my mid 20s. Um, I would say like at 22, 23. Um, I think I was 22. Yeah, I was 22. Whenever I was 22, I quit focusing on cars. I still watch a lot of car videos. Doug DeMuro, Throttle House. I watch a lot of car content. I love cars. It's always been my fascination. Um, but whenever I turned 22, I gave it all up and I started to focus on YouTube, which is what you see now. I started to focus on music because music was something that I always wanted to do in the background as a hobby, but I never had the funds to do it. So um, I started to focus on stuff like that. I had a buddy help me build my first gaming PC. He basically put all the parts together online. I ordered everything and then I put it together myself. I had a little help along the way, but did that. And then from there on, I started doing YouTube a lot full time. Well, not even full time. I just started doing it like after work as a hobby, something to really change my perspective as to who I am and what I want. Honestly, if it wasn't for YouTube and the whole music thing, I would probably still be a different person than who I am now. But yeah, I was doing that, and then I was investing my money into music and stuff. I eventually got like a DJ mixer, which was my first like real investment towards music, and then I started to do that for a little while, and then I was like, you can't just be a DJ all the time. And I got to thinking, I was like, why don't I just invest into producing music? And so I invested money into music and I started to produce music. And I put a few things out, and that has been such an amazing experience to do. Um, but it's been fun. Seriously, it's been a fun time just doing that on the side. I have so many tracks that need to get done, but it's going to take me a while. And especially right now, like I'm going through some stuff in my life. And so like right now is just not a good time to like put all of my effort into it. I'm still going to be working on that stuff, but um it's not going to be something like, especially right now, it's not going to be something that I need to focus on. What I really need to focus on is my mental health. and making sure that I'm okay, which is why I'm making this video. This video is really just to shine light on myself and my achievements. I've been through a lot in life. There was my brother's addiction, and my brother's still addicted. Don't really talk to him anymore, but um, I was there for my parents through the whole thing, and um, which is surprising, honestly. It kind of tells you who I am as a person. It's been a long time, been a very long time, but um, I was there for my mom a lot, a lot, a lot, trying to help her get through what my brother was doing. And then along the way, I was dating and I kept dating people that I guess that were just fixer uppers, and it usually came back and bit me in the rear. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess that's where I'm at in life right now. Is like I'm just trying to see where my problems have started and trying to fix that within myself. Um, I know that I'm not just going to give my heart to anybody now, but I know that I'm still like a very loving and caring person on the inside. Like I said, I was there for my mom a lot through my brother's drug addiction. And so, if that doesn't tell you what kind of character I am, then I don't know what will. And I can't make anybody I can't convince anybody that I'm a kind-hearted person. I mean, I definitely have a few mistakes in my life, but um, I know that I am definitely a really good, kind-hearted person, and I just have to figure out where I stand. So that's truly why I'm making this video, is just to, I don't know, just to let it all out, just to talk about it. It's a good idea. Good idea to talk about certain situations or things in general. Um, no matter no matter if you're getting help or not, it's always good to just vent about your life situations. It kind of helps you out. Like, some people may write it down in a journal. Some people may do what I'm doing. Some people may make it in music. Like for me, sometimes it's my music that I let all my emotions out. But for the most part, it's always healthy to find an outlet to sit down and talk about yourself and the things that you've been through. It's always good to write down in a journal. It's always good to just let it out in a video, or like just talk about it in general. It's always good to do that, so that way you can let it out, and you're not sitting at home like depressed and you want to harm yourself. Because honestly, like I said, I've been through a lot, and honestly, there are times in my life where I do want to just let it. I want it to stop in my head, and sometimes I have to go to my friends and talk to them about it, and then they'll talk me out of it. But um, I am a firm believer that your mental health is always more important. And so, if you're not doing okay, or if you feel like you're not doing okay, seek help, do something that makes it better on you. Like talking about everything that I just talked about, and then I'm going to be putting out the video. doing that is helping me, because like a lot of times I'll go back and re-listen to the video, you know, the whole, been 30 minutes now, but like the whole 30 minutes of me just talking about random stuff that has happened in my life. Um, it helps me out in the long run. So, you know, do whatever helps you out mentally. Do whatever uh, will make you a better person. Because I want to see people be better. I want to see people treat people better. I want to see people just love each other more and more each day. We don't, as humans, especially now in this time period, we don't treat each other very kindly. And I don't know. I would love to see people just care for one another again. Um, and it sucks because like I care a lot about people, and it's always come back and bit me in the rear. And I think this time I have to, you know, tone it down a bit and really care about myself. And I think that sucks because like I love caring about people. I love being there for people. But if it's gonna continuously hurt me in the long run, then why should I, you know, do that for people? But yeah, like I do think that we should care more for each other as humans. There's always going to be those people that take advantage of the situation if you're as caring as I am. And just know that you are strong. Just know that you will make it out okay if you are as caring as I am. Don't let whatever has happened to you make you bitter, make you an angry person. Um, take it as a learning experience. Take it as um, somebody, or take it as something that you know you were so empowered, you were so enlightened with caring, um, and you just couldn't help that person. You know, take it as that. Um, I think that the caring people in the world are always going to be so powerful. They're always going to be more powerful than what is out there. But yeah, this will be the end of my video. My washer is getting really loud over here, so I'm going to put an end to this video. But if you happen to like my content, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This video has been going on for 33 minutes now. So yeah, see you later.